新年快乐 and Happy New Year, everybody. We're still in the New Year phase and the New Year cycle. And we have started our New Year's spring cycle on the 24 solar cycles. So we have made a full revolution in the 24 solar cycles, and we're back at the beginning. So, as Chinese New Year has moved in, so has the first signs of spring, which is Li Chūn, which happened February 4th on the Gregorian calendar. But official Chinese New Year starts on the new moon. And when we're talking about Li Chun, this is the beginning of spring signs in the southern part of China, in the extreme south. So as we move through our natural signs of spring, we can start to see the changes on that particular area of China and then also across the world. So as we finish up this portion of Li Chun as of the 18th, which is tomorrow, we start a new cycle, Yu Shu. Oh, I'm sorry, Yu Shui. Yu Shui. Yu Shui is the increase of rainfall in the southern part of China, going from February 19th all the way through March 4th. So we will finish up our Li Chun expression of spring. And starting Monday, we will start a new, right around 2 week cycle of the rains coming in southern China. So as we go through our expression of the first part of spring, which because we weren't here for Chinese New Year, we didn't see much of it, but we're still going to do some of the suggestions for Li Chan. Then we will start the rainwater and then catch up next time with the suggestions for Yu Shui. So as we look at what the next phases of the solar cycle is going to look like, the next 6 phases, we have the start of spring, rain, water, awakening of the insects, vernal equinox, clear and bright, and grain rain. So we're still in the start of spring, Li Chun, and we can move forward into its expression of looking at the highs and the lows of the temperature variance. So we still have the highs are not so high in Orlando. We're in the 60s. And going from this period from Dahan to Lichun, you can see we go from the 60s to the 80s and then the 70s. And then today we have the high of 68. But in places like New York and in Chicago and Montreal, the temperatures are still pretty chilly. So as we in the southern hemisphere, just like China, are starting to see the first parts of spring, you won't see that too much in the northern hemisphere because it's still too chilly. Now we have the expression in places warm like Orlando or Abu Dhabi. And you can see in Abu Dhabi, it's 75, 84, 70, 73, and 81. And it's still pretty warm, and it's going to start to warm up even more. But at night, we are at 59 tonight. And if you work your way backwards, you can still see at right around the first part of spring, we're still in the high 50s at night. So in other places like Montreal, they're still in the teens. So we'll still see some expression because it's not either below zero or close to zero. Then things are starting to warm up in the northern hemisphere. So now that we understand that it's all relative to the area of the world we are, we always take a look at our northern and southern latitudes. And our northern latitudes, like 29 degrees, 31, between 29 and 31, is where runs through Florida, runs through southern China, runs through Cairo, Egypt. Now, when we're talking about what synonymous expressions will be like, we're talking about just north of us, like DeLand or St. Augustine or Brunswick, Georgia, which is synonymous with New Orleans, Houston, and places like Cairo. The higher latitudes, like 35 through 45 northern latitudes, this is synonymous with places like Charlotte and Albuquerque, Philadelphia and Denver, Minneapolis and Portland, which runs through Gibraltar, Madrid, and Milan in Europe, goes through Tehran, Xi'an, and Beijing in China. And as you can see, the expression of nature will be about the same. So, where did we begin? We began at the first solar cycle, Li Chūn, and you can see it wraps all the way around because we just finished Da Han, and we move back to the starting point of Li Chūn. So as we move into these particular spaces of natural expression, we can see how the body is now going to respond to these particular stimuli and how to adjust the body so that the body can now maintain its ability to adjust to the new environment day by day, making small wins big wins. Because if you have very subtle changes, the body can make them easily. But it's those quick, rapid changes is typically what gets the body into trouble, and the body cannot respond too fast, and it will now either have opportunistic infection or all kinds of circulation issues or what have you. So now, how do we encourage the body to start making those changes? Well, we can just add simple things to our diet if we know our fundamental constitution and what our fundamental constitution, like the yang type or the yin type, we can now add certain flavors and certain fruits to our diet to stimulate that response. So, for example, for the yang body type this time, we have, like the green dragon, we have the sour green plum. And the green is a color that's synonymous with the sour flavor in Chinese medicine and Chinese food therapy. And that sour is responsible for interacting with the liver and the gallbladder. So that's why we're starting off with our yang types, our treetop fruit types. We're going to use sour plum for the next 24 hours or so. And as we start doing that, we can move into our bodies into now regulating itself for spring. Now, if we're a yin type, we're also going to use another sour type fruit, which is cranberry. And as we go and use the cranberry, then now we can see how to interact with that because both of these are sour fruits. So let's start with the yang body type and we look at the sour green plum. So then now this stimulates our appetite. It aids in digestion. It regulates the body fluids, stops thirst, softens and soothes the liver. So there's that liver and gallbladder connection. And the main function of the liver is to provide the free flow of qi. So you can see here where it removes stagnation of qi. So it assists the liver in removing any stagnation. And it also has the ability to create that free flow so that the body, when you have stagnation, you have friction. When you have friction, the body feels like it's hot when it's not. And then you can feel this all the way to your bones, to your inner core. So, this is why when we get things moving and we alleviate the sensations, you now won't feel like your bones are steaming. So this is why you would use this kind of fruit as a yang type to move into a position of constant free flow. So now that we know what to do for our yang types, let's see what we're going to do for our yin types. We're going to start using cranberries. Now, cranberries can be in any form. Plums can be in any form. So whatever form you like to take, so that your body has the reaction that we're looking for. As your body ingests this substance, like cranberries, your body's going to have a reaction. So this particular fruit, it's sour. It does interact with the liver and gallbladder because of the taste, but it also has a binding of the essence type of function because now that's sour, like the puckering lips, that allows the body to hold things up and bring things back. When it's doing that, it also can allow the body to squeeze out any type of waste or toxin. So when we're talking about waste or toxin, we're talking about, in this case, liquid waste. So if you wring out a wet towel, what happens? The fluid begins to come out. So then now when the cranberries go in and wring out your tissue, your flesh, your connective tissue, then now it can promote the urination function. And when it promotes that urination function, as things begin to free flow, just like water can penetrate a rock, then now urine can penetrate any obstruction and now alleviate any of these kind of issues. So because it's doing that, it can also strengthen the kidney function. You use it, it gets stronger. So then it strengthens the kidney function and helps with the reproductive system. Now, why is the reproductive system related to the kidneys? Because the ovaries and the testicles are now related to the shape of the kidney. So in Chinese medicine, we call them Shaoshan, little kidneys. Okay. So then now you begin to understand how there's interrelationship with different types of areas of the body. And then look at the cranberries. It's round and has that shape that it can be like a small kidney or an ovary or a testicle. And those things can help your body now prepare for the new adjustment going from the winter and into the spring. So thank you all for coming. And we have started a new year, new things to come, new energy to understand. So remember, if you have any type of symptoms, indications, or conditions, we have your virtual consult just a push button away, and you can come on to ohoseminars.com and sign up for one of our virtual consults. And moving forward, we can move into helping you balance yourself and restore any imbalance. And be sure to now, if you have resolve your issues, you start learning about your body type. This is a preventative type of service. So once you understand more about your constitution and your do's and don'ts, now you can avoid any type of disease. So I'm Jiao Shi. Have a wonderful first start of the season, and I will see you all next time.